is another episode of the Photography Mindset Podcast. I'm Seth.
And I'm Aaron.
Nice little chair rolling. Was that on purpose?
No, I was just checking my camera.
It was an interesting transition. I've been in Final Cut all day, so I've just been, everything I see is a transition now. You know the feeling?
I know it well. That is a doozy of a program. And editing video. Oh.
Yeah. Well, and today I've been working on, well, not working on, but I've come to realize there's a certain strategy for working on editing photos or editing video or putting together a project that's worked really well for me, especially because my most recent project, as I've been texting personally with you, the project I'm working on right now is editing interview, sit-down interview with footage of summer camp, one of the camps I've been working at, well, the camp I've been working at. And I think I texted you, I'm like, man, I don't know how to do this. I've never done this. And I've caught myself getting frustrated, being like, well, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. So what I wanted to talk about today is something that has been very helpful. I think I've been doing this on projects before this one, and I wanted to dive deep into why people should maybe try this with their photo editing if they're not already, or their video editing, etc. And that is to walk away from your editing session or your project session when you still want to continue. Have you ever tried this?
Walking away when I still want to continue.
You're in the middle of your editing session, and when you're in flow, and you deliberately decide to end the fun. You're still having a great time, and you're like, "That's it for today." As opposed to, "Oh, that was a good day's work. I'm fried. I was fried 2 hours ago."
Yeah, my sort of built in, my time management is sometimes dictated by soccer games or dog walks or a gig here and there, or what may come up through the day. Time for dinner for Ben.
So it's like indirectly built in for you.
Yeah, so I might be in the flow and feeling it, but it's like I got to stop for a little bit. Where's a good place to stop? Let me try to just wrap this up quickly. I got to go though. I'll be back in an hour, maybe restart. So I think there's a lot of, let me do as much as I can in the 45 minutes that I have. No matter where I'm at, I got to leave in 45 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit different than what I'm describing, where it's like, I'm having so much fun. Like, this is awesome, and this looks really good, and this is coming together, and I'm liking how this is looking, and stop. Like that. I hear what you're saying, where you're like, I got to go somewhere. So whether I feel great or not, I got to end. But I've been, fortunately, maybe I'm not as busy as you. I don't have as many responsibilities with the son and all these things. So,
what's your purpose though? What's the thought behind it?
That's what I wanted to get into. So there's a few things. The thought behind this. So first of all, before I even start, I dedicate anywhere between 2 to 3 hours, no matter what. No matter if things are going well or not. I mean, obviously, 99% of the time, once you start, things go well. The hardest part is starting. So number one is I've found that when you stop, when you're enjoying yourself, stop editing, stop doing whatever, when you're enjoying yourself, is you preserve your momentum for tomorrow. So you leave something in the tank, stopping while you're still excited. I've found that I'm much more eager to dive back in the next day. And for me, and I would imagine most people, starting is the most difficult part because there's so much friction. You're at a standstill. Yeah. So when you stop on a high, and when you still have creative juice, there's something in the tank for tomorrow. There's something you're eager. There's something you look forward to creatively, even if you're having fun, right? Pushing too hard can lead to mental fatigue. I've done that where it's been 8-10 hours just slogging it away, and you're like, I'm a beast. I'm super productive. But I don't think, I think for me anyways, I thrive more on balance, and stopping when I'm ahead helps me sustain passion for the project. So you ask, I guess, what is the reason for this mode, right? So that's number one. Do you want to add things before I continue?
It reminds me of a philosophy I have for seeing concerts.
Okay.
And when I'm at a show, it gets a little, depending on who you're seeing, I suppose, but it can get a little numbing. And some bands like to go for 3.5 hours, 4 hours.
I've got a funny story for you when you're done.
And some bands like Lord Huron in Canada, they're a quick hour and 10 minutes,
Sure.
maybe one encore, and you like, it's fast and you're still in a great mood and your body still feels good from standing there and you're like, oh, that was sick.
Yeah.
And then there's the bands where like they have a set one and then a break and then a set two, then a break and then an encore. And you're like, I gotta stay for the encore. But by that time, you're like, if your mindset is, oh my God, I want to leave so bad. I want to go to bed so bad. Like you're not enjoying it. You're not at that point having a good time. And I think it takes away from really liking the band, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bands that you can watch like streaming stuff on YouTube. And some of those bands, like being on my couch and being able to just kind of hone in and have a perfect view and perfect sound and being able to sit or lay down is like so much more enjoyable than standing there for 2 or 3 hours
Yeah.
with bad seats or a bad view or a bad back if that's part of your deal, like it is for me, just standing still.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of reminds me of that feeling, and it's kind of the sunken cost theory a little bit with like, there's been concerts I've bought tickets to, and then I was like, I'm not driving 3 hours today. Like this is the last thing I want to do to go see a band right now, just based
3
on my mood or whatever.
hours.
And it's like, oh, but you spent the money. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I
it's
spent
fun.
the money either way. So now I can do something I want with that money spent, or I can not and like force myself for some reason to go do something. So
Yeah, it's gone either way.
yeah,
Yeah, my funny story is Haley and I went to go see John Mayer of all people.
I knew it was going to be this.
Have I told you the story?
Yeah.
I have.
Oh, we get it. You can play guitar.
Hey,
right?
what are you talking about?
You were just like, we get it. You're good at guitar.
Yes,
We're out of here.
I'm at the age where I'm repeating myself. But for people who don't know, don't ruin my fun. We were there like 2 hours, 2.5. How long does he play? I don't know. You're a John Mayer fan. What's the traditional John Mayer show? Like 3 hours? He gets lost in the music.
It depends what he's doing. Yeah.
We looked at each other. We're like, ready to go home? Like,
yeah.
He's sick. We get it.
Yeah.
We're like, sweet, let's go. And we dipped like probably half hour, 45 minutes left in his show. We're just like, yeah, we get it. He's awesome. We had our fill. See ya. As opposed to like, oh my God, how long does this solo go on? And then it just ruins the whole concert.
Right.
Because that's the last impression
my dad always said, if say it's a playoff game and it's super late and it's your team, and he goes, all right, you can stay up for the fourth quarter, but you're going to be super tired tomorrow. And either they win, or, which will be great, and then you get to see another game in the playoffs, or you stayed up for them to lose, and it's going to be more painful that you didn't get the sleep that you wanted. So he's like, it's just one of those things too, where it's like you cut your losses at some point.
You're safe, huh?
And sometimes you can be like pleasantly surprised, or it can like spur on more. You can look up the set list and be like, oh, we missed that banger. I can't believe we missed that. We got to go see him some other time. Or there's an excitement to it versus being miserable.
I wonder how many times I've told the John Mayer story on this show.
I think just once or twice.
Wow, then you have a good memory. Make me feel bad. Like I have something going on cognitively. Maybe
220 times out of 300.
Yeah, imagine. Maybe running or maybe golf. That would probably
yeah. That'd be right.
So the other reason is fresh eyes equals better work.
Yeah. I
can't tell you how many times I've, after working for too long on something, coming back the next day and being like, who edited this? Or this is ridiculously terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Just missing mistakes, poor pacing in a video, dust spots. I think a rested mind is better at catching errors and inconsistencies that might slip when you're in the zone. You're rewatching a clip 50 times and you kind of get numb. You get nose blind to some obvious things. I think we've had that happen where either I've sent you something or you sent me something and you're like, what's that there? And you're like, huh? I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
So fresh eyes definitely equals better work is another reason.
For sure.
And I think stopping early, especially when you're on a high and you're enjoying yourself, promotes, I think, the subconscious processing of creativity. I think we've talked about how the creative mind needs rest as well. And I've realized that even in the hour or two, kind of like that afterglow of stepping away from something that I've been really into, my brain keeps working. Like good ideas pop into my head that I wasn't thinking about when I was in front of the project. Or I've noticed doing this in the mornings. I have a really good idea about how to transition to another section of a video that pops into my idea. It pops into my head that didn't really happen when I was grinding full days on a project. So I think the breakthroughs happen when you step away after a shorter time frame in front of the project, and you avoid diminishing returns. Right? I feel like also, let's say you're editing for an 8-hour period, like a traditional workday, and you get new ideas throughout that editing time frame. I think the quality of your ideas decline. So you may be getting new ideas or new thoughts on how to edit this thing, but I think just because they're new doesn't mean that they're great. And I think that's a graph that the quality of those new ideas diminishes, and you don't maybe necessarily realize it because you conflate new ideas with good ideas. So I feel like stopping while you're still energized and excited ensures that you're kind of always working at your best and that the best ideas are coming to the forefront.
Yeah, but I agree. I think it's good advice. I think also there's a little bit of the horse smelling the stable. As that saying goes,
this one.
As that saying go, the horse smells the stable and starts to really pick up speed and try to get home, finish.
How does this apply?
Well, I feel like I was just editing a bunch of things from live music show, a little really concert.
Great, by the way.
Thanks. But I was trying to get them done fast, right? And turn them over. I know how Nooch works, and he stays up all night long getting things done. And that was not me, but I was going to do it early in the morning and try to get things done so they could use them if they wanted. But as I was getting through more edits than I usually would do in one setting, I found myself feeling like, all right, I have 15 photos done. I really want to get to 20. And then starting to get faster and faster in my process of editing.
In a good way, or
in a I don't want to say bad way, but just a faster way that brings in the things that you mentioned.
So not as good as it could be.
Yeah, not taking each photo as its own and its own time, but trying to like blast through them and get them done because I've been sitting here for a long time and now I'm a little bit sloppier potentially. Maybe I'm making a few more mistakes. You get that feeling when you hand over the folder like, oh, I should have looked through those maybe one more time closer. You know that feeling where you're like, you're not confident that you didn't screw something up majorly. So
I often have the reverse where I'm like, I've looked at this too many times. It's fine. You ding dong, just say. But I hear what you're saying. It's also like when you really got to pee and the closer you get to the toilet bowl, the worse that sensation gets. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Everybody listening knows what I'm talking about. When you really got to pee, it's at its pinnacle, that sensation when you're 2 feet away from the toilet.
Yeah. True.
Or it's not, and I'm just...
Or in the car when it says service station, like 14 miles, that's when it peaks. And you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, uh-oh. Yeah.
Can I make it 14 miles? I think so.
Then you got to walk in. But no, I understand you're saying now.
Yeah, I was just, you can get to a point where you're flying through it versus putting it aside, even for 20 minutes, even go take a walk, just refresh the senses, like you're saying, and get back to it. But yeah, I think that it makes sense to me. I think in a lot of the creative fields, music, art, photography, production can take a long time. And it's like a high concentration. I've heard many stories of songwriters that like their favorite song they absolutely hated when they were recording it because you're listening to it 100 times in a row. No one even listens to that, maybe 1,000 times in a row. No one's even listening to their favorite song 100 times in a row without going mad. So imagine something you wrote and you have to like keep regurgitating it. You're gonna just by default learn to hate it because you're not going to love it more by going through it a million times. You're going to learn to like, oh, that sucks, or that could be worse, or this is boring, or it's numb to my ear. And then you come back to it a year later and you're like, oh, wow, that was kind of good.
And brings me, thank you for the perfect liaison.
There you go.
Like we've been doing this for a long time. It's another reason is because when you stop early or you stop at a dedicated time, even when you still have more in the tank, you don't turn joy into exhaustion like you've just described. You protect the fun.
Right.
We all know if you push too hard on something, even the most enjoyable project, something that started out as fun, can start to feel like a chore, be boring. So stopping while you're still having fun allows you to maintain a healthy and exuberant relationship with your work and your projects.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. You don't want to leave hating it. You want to leave feeling good about it.
That's right. And you keep the spark alive. Like for me, when I've been stopping on a high note, when I feel like I want to continue, I think I've said this already, but I'm more likely to feel excited to pick up where I left off the next day. And actually, doing a little bit of research for the topic of this episode, I came across an Ernest Hemingway quote, author, for those of you who don't know. And the quote was, "Always stop when you know what's going to happen next." And I think the point of this quote is, and why it's relevant for us as creators, is that if you stop while you're still excited, and this goes back to what I was saying, and if you know what comes next the next day, you avoid the blank page feeling. You know that feeling where you're like, I have something to do, I don't know where to begin. And a lot of us in that scenario have the tendency to go make busy work and procrastinate and not do it. So if you always stop, to quote him again, always stop when you know what's going to happen next, you keep the momentum alive, and it makes it easier to pick up where you left off, and you don't have the dreaded blank page, oh my God, feeling, what do I do?
Yeah, that's a good point. It reminds me of eating pizza. when you have
all of your left field quotes.
When you have 3 slices,
horse left the barn. It reminds you of eating pizza. It's like my dad said, you could stay up for the fourth quarter. You're a treasure trove of.
When you have your favorite pizza and you have 3 pieces, and you're like, I'm good. I could have 3 more.
That's me.
But then I'm going to feel disgusting, and I'm going to hate this experience, and I'm going to hate the experience afterwards, and then I'm going to swear off pizza for days. Versus you end on a good note. They're like, maybe I'll have a piece later. Maybe I'll have some for breakfast.
In the morning, cold pizza.
Cold pizza.
Yeah, I
so good.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't get I'm disgusting feeling that you just described. I'm more so like I'm an animal. I just crushed this whole thing. But I do like.
You don't eat to the point of absolute
shame,
absolute gorged, like a tick that's been on your pup for 3 days.
Oh man, I almost spit on my water.
Just exploded.
I don't get that. No, I get the I'm a beast. I just crushed this whole pizza, and then it instantly goes to, oh, I don't have any leftovers for tomorrow. Whereas I like the sweet spot you're describing. I hammered 75% of this pizza, and there's 2 slices waiting for me in the morning when I get a little hungry.
Yeah, there's going to be a nice little tiny meal later.
Yeah, a little sriracha, black olive.
Oh, yummy.
Oh, we should start a pizza podcast.
I'm hungry.
Every episode is just different combinations of pizza. Different toppings.
Bring it to the table.
Mathematical. I guess if you consider everything a topping, then there's an infinite amount of possibilities. But there's our next endeavor. So always stop when you know what's going to happen next. No blank page feeling. I've experienced this. I know what to do the next day.
Yeah,
and I can hear. Excuse me. I'm burping because we're talking about pizza.
Pizza. Yeah, it's throwing up.
It was, what's that called? I didn't eat pizza, but I still had a pizza burp.
Tasting it somehow.
Gotta be it's gotta be some mental phenomenon. It's gotta be Phantom pizza? Phantom pie?
Yeah. Phantom pizza burp. A PB.
Little pizza burp. I can hear people saying, okay, well, if I dedicate somewhere between 2 to 3 hours on a project and I have deadlines, it's going to take me so long. So this isn't very applicable. So what I would say to that is, I think it speaks first of all to what we recommend people do is, if it's going to take you a week, say 2. so that you over deliver. And I think that I've come to learn, at least with myself, that consistency beats intensity. So if you told me, okay, you're going to work on this project for 4 hours for 4 days, or you're going to work on it for 8 hours for 2 days, all things remaining the same, I bet you my 4 and 4 project is way higher quality than the 2-day 8 hours.
Yeah,
Although
that
they
makes
both
sense.
took the same amount of workload in terms of hourly effort.
Right.
So I think what that argument suggests is, obviously, again, to reiterate, that consistency beats intensity. And I think saying I worked on this project every single day for 4 days is more of a confidence builder, and more of a discipline builder, rather, if that's something you're trying to work on, than slogging it out for 2 days. So I feel like you may have more success showing up every day for a little bit and not working until you're completely drained. Rather showing up every day and doing a little bit, rather than 2 days and just feeling absolutely gassed by the end. And so, again, stopping at a good point helps you sustain a routine.
Yeah. And I think some might be saying out there too is you're saying stop before you are like sick of it or burnt out.
That's
So
different for everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
So on a number line, let's say 1 through 15 is I'm working pretty smoothly, but once my temperature gets to 15 to 20, I'm starting to hate things.
Sorry.
But it's a great.
What's 1 to 20? What is this variable? This is your
1 is completely happy and like flying. 20 is on a scale of misery. 20 is like I want to quit this job.
okay.
So
What would 10 be then?
10's like I'm still working pretty good, but maybe I'm feeling a little bit of the ickies.
Okay, I'm
Like,
stopping at 8 because I feel like the slot between I'm feeling really good to I'm starting to feel the ickies is very brief. So I bet you in your analogy, 8 is where I would stop. I don't know
and
how
that's
many hours that's going to be for each person.
no, it's all different. But I think you can like touch upon, you start to feel these little things like, oh, I'm rushing. I'm like trying to get this done versus I'm enjoying it.
And that involves checking in with yourself and being honest with yourself.
And once you feel those things, maybe it's time to say, okay, I'm gonna take a break because I don't want to be rushing through this project for myself or for a client or whomever it is. Like even if it's I think you can reset in 20 minutes, even and you go take a walk and then come back and do and I will add to that
20 minutes though in your, like, that doesn't count, the 20-minute break.
Right. It's just about staying, I think, in that fresh zone as much as you can for you use 16 hours. So for the 16 hours, how much of those 16 hours are you really enjoying the process versus how much of that 16 hours are you hating the process? And I think if you can keep yourself, even if you have to take breaks or extend the time that you're going to deliver to the client, whatever it may be, if you can keep yourself editing in those happy moments and enjoying it and being like, oh, this photo, I want to do this. I'm going to bring it into Photoshop. I'm going to bring it in here. I think this would add to, like, whatever it may be, you're doing it to the fullest extent and getting through it versus I'll have these moments. I had these moments of like, I could do this in Photoshop. I also could just do this in Lightroom right here and like do my best.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting to take shortcuts and get a little quicker to get to the end. That's when it's time to take a break. I also find that my first jaunt, my sprint out of the gate, let's say I can do 10 photos really well. Now I get to a point where I really can do one photo at a time and then I have to go get a drink of water or make a cup of coffee. I can come back and do one more photo and then I'm going to take the dogs for a walk. I can come back and do one more photo, maybe 2 at this point because I took a long walk. But my stamina gets a little burnt out from the initial happy load that I do, like 10 photos right off the bat. Now my stamina is there, but it's a little bit less. I can only do 1 or 2 at a time before I start to feel those things creep in.
Yeah, for sure. It's not a straight line in terms of you're at maximum capacity from start till finish.
Right.
It's going to dip and dive and increase and decrease. It's going to be different for everybody. And I will say too, at least for me, it's not maximal enjoyment right out of the gate either. Like the first 15 minutes often is right?
Can be, especially with video.
It can be, yeah. But then by minute 20, I'm like, okay, this is things are making sense.
Yeah.
I'm making progress. I know what I'm doing. I'm getting ideas. I'm executing. So I think that's an important thing to realize too, is that the journey to the pinnacle of that joy when you're quitting, when you're walking away, rather, is a better word, isn't constant the entire time. Right?
Yeah.
So I think it is important to note if you're not having fun in the first 15 minutes, that doesn't mean stop. It means push through. And I do think we've talked a lot about how ending when you're happy. Some editing sessions are a battle. Like maybe things are blurry, things didn't go right, you're not happy with how things are going. Still stick to your dedicated time limit. For me, it's between, I think I said 2 to 3 hours already. For you, it could be 4. For somebody else, it could be an hour to 2 hours. And this can also be influenced by lifestyle, what you got going on, what your priorities are, etc. But even if things are going poorly, stick to that, because then you can at least be proud. If you're not at a level of joy, you can at least be proud, like, yeah, I hung in there. I think in those instances, the entire time hasn't been very fun. What we're talking about is don't let an enjoyable experience turn into that. But if you're still not having a great time and it's not bringing you joy and it's something you need to be doing, like still see it through to what your time limit was. Is what I would suggest.
I think that is all good. I think also breaking things down, my own workflow and what I've learned that works is importing your photos. Let's say it's a photo project. Importing your photos, that takes a little bit of time depending on how much you've shot for a client. Then one session is going through them and rating them and trying to do a really good job at rating them. And I don't edit one thing.
Yeah, that's nice. That's like breaking your workflow into chapters.
Yeah.
Today is rating. Today is culling. Today is...
Yep. And that gets me excited for the following day or the following afternoon or whatever it may be, of like seeing a few of the photos that I've rated highly, like, oh, that's going to work out well.
Yeah.
I have to kind of wait to edit it. You don't just jump in and then get all mixed up. I try to stay very organized with the sections and the segments of the whole project. And that way also keeps it fresh. Like, okay, now I rated them. Now let's go do 5 photos. That won't take too long. Let's just go do 5 of our, in order, whatever it may be, in order, favorites, whatever. Let's do 5, take a break. Let's find our next 5. Yeah. So breaking things up.
Yeah. And then if, let's say, rating photos is something that you detest, but that's all you got to do for the day, you can see it as a means to an end rather than something you hate kind of blending seamlessly into the part editing that you like. And it doesn't muddy it up. You can just categorize one day as, okay, this is my not fun maintenance task, but it means I get to tomorrow really do what I want to do.
Yeah. And it should, I don't mind this advice. I feel like it helps with telling a client confidently, you'll have this within a week. You'll have this within 2 weeks. If you can say to yourself, all right, I'm going to give myself 1 day to cull. I'm going to give myself 1 day to rate. I'm going to give myself 1 day for 5 photographs, 2 days for 10, 3 days for 15, 4 days for 20, and whatever extra is good, that's what I lost track, but 5 days, let's say 7 to be safe.
Sure.
And now I feel like I can take my time with this and maybe I get it done in 2 days because I am flying and I'm happy and it's good. Or I could do one thing at a time, as slow as possible, and still chip away and get things done.
Yeah. And I think what's important as well is we've suggested stopping when you're enjoying yourself and you're having fun. I think that obviously, uh, I think that insinuates that you don't stop, you don't get to the point where you're having a bad time. But I also think that you just said maybe I'm flying, right? And I'm let's say you're flying and you decide to do 8 hours. You could still be having fun, but your ideas also suck despite that, I guess is what I'm saying. I guess what I'm trying to say is the sensation of I'm getting edgy and irritated shouldn't be, oh, that time to stop, right on the edge of I'm having fun, and that shouldn't be it. I think it should just be the time limit that you dedicated.
Mm.
Because even if you're having fun for 8 hours, I think your ideas will start to be poorer and poorer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do. So I think setting the time limit is prior to, like you described, is smart, and not doing I still feel great and I'm at hour 9. I mean, that may be the case, but I think you're blind at that. You're blind. You've been staring at your screen all day. There's no way that your ideas are of the same quality when you began.
Yeah.
Even if you think they are. I really don't. And I think also for people who are, I guess I described a couple minutes ago, people who, to hang in there, even if you're not having a good time, right? You're calling or you're doing a task you don't like, but you've set the dedicated time that you're going to work on this. Why this is important. Another reason why setting a time limit prior to beginning is important, especially for the shitty tasks, is because you definitely know when that misery ends. Do you know what I'm saying? So I heard about a study at I forget which airport it was at. I heard about this on a podcast. The airport was having tons of complaints because the security line was taking too long and all these things, etc. And so they brought in a marketing agency to help them solve the problems. And do you know what the marketing agency did?
What's that?
In the lines, they put, as you got further along the queue, markers, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. And the complaints drastically dropped because people knew when the shitty experience ended.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we, it's not that we necessarily, in an absolute sense, hate the shitty thing happening. It's that we hate that we don't know when it ends.
Right.
If people know when the poor experience stops, there's a sense of relief. So if there's a task that you don't want to do, culling, rating, sending emails, if you have your stopwatch counting down from 2.5 hours, you can go, 40 minutes left of this horse shit. So if it's a task that's necessary, and you're able to count it down, that's also a win of the time limit. It goes both ways in keeping you fresh, ending on a high, and also having you push through processes where it's just, the cost of doing business and you have to do it. So set time limits. Yeah.
Stay as fresh as you can. These are little things you can do to just try to make the process easier and most importantly, come out with a good final product.
Better product than you
better
may
product.
Have. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stopping while you're still having fun isn't about cutting it short. It's protecting your creativity, maintaining your energy.
I think the biggest point you're saying is
I'm saying showing up at your best, optimize ways to do that.
So there's an article about running. We talked about running for the 3. But it said, in order to improve your workouts, have one personal goal that you, in the middle of your workout, that you are proud of. So maybe it's a fastest mile time. Maybe it's you feel really good sprinting for a minute, whatever it may be, something in the middle that feels really good, and end on a comfortable, nice note. So end with like a light jog, or end with a zone 2 last mile, or end, I don't know, with your legs feeling good. So end on a nice note and have something you're proud of during the workout. And that makes you really want to come back for more. And maybe
Sure.
that relates as
Definitely.
in these sessions, like, oh, I have 10 photos I want to get done. One was amazing. Like, I'm so proud of that photo, and I took it the extra mile. I brought it into Photoshop. I blended in layers, whatever it may be. I'm super proud of that. And I rounded up 10 photos in my time allotted hour. I'm gonna close things up, and that was a really good session.
Yeah.
Now I'm excited to come back and do it again tomorrow.
Well said, man. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're in the middle of a project and you're still having fun, consider hitting pause, I guess. And consider leaving a rating and review for this podcast if it's something you enjoy weekly, because it's a cost-free, effective way to support the show. And we appreciate you all who listen.
Yeah, we sure do.
As always, man, it's been a pleasure.
You too.
Till next time.